What's going on, everyone? So, the Los Angeles Lakers ended up stealing Dalton Knecht with the 17th pick in the draft. He was a guy that was as high as top 5 on many boards. He was looked at as a player that was one of, if not the most ready now player in this draft, and was looked at as a player that could really make a contribute out the gate. And lo and behold, that's exactly what has happened with Dalton Knecht. Dalton Knecht has been absolutely spectacular for the Lakers. On many nights, he's been their third best guy. He's had multiple games where he's actually been the leading scorer for the Lakers. But not just that, it's just what he provides and slotting in alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis. He's a guy that this Lakers team has been trying to find for years now, right? A reliable sharpshooter that can just play move off ball, that can completely take a defensive player out of plays, so it makes it harder to defend them, and he's really done that. He's also helped with the rebounding. He's been rebounding very solid this season because he has athleticism, got good foot speed. Defensively, he is starting to improve, starting to gain. He's on a bit of a slump right now, but that's understandable. It happens to the best of them. I mean, even guys like Steph Curry have had, a week, 2-week slumps. In the end, we know what Dalton Knecht can provide, what he can do, what he's capable of doing. And he's a rookie, right? Yes, he's, 23. He'll be 24. But this is a kid that still has room for growth and development, right? Right now, he is playing a very specific role as a role player, right? But who knows what it looks like as he gets more comfortable, as he starts to continue to grow and develop over the next, year, 2 years, 3 years, so on and so forth. But we're getting reports from, one of those executives, one of those insiders that is, I don't know if it's supposed to be a slight. People are kind of taking it as a slight. It kind of comes off as a slight, but I don't really think that it is, right? But here's what was said. So again, this was from an anonymous exec. Knecht is almost 24. He's a rotation player, which is what we thought. The exec said, if he's making shots, he looks great. If not, maybe he doesn't, but not every team needs a guy like that. If you passed on him, you knew what you were passing on. Couple things about that. Again, I don't know if this was meant to be like, he's not as good as advertised, right? I don't buy the hype type thing. One, he's doing this as a rookie. Two, isn't that every player in the history of the league, right? Like LeBron James, when he's hitting shots, he looks great. When he's not, as we've seen the last few games, he looks terrible. Anthony Davis, Michael Jordan, you name it, go down the list. Isn't that usually how it works, right? Now look, no one's saying Dalton Knecht is a star or superstar or anything like that, right? Obviously, he's got a long way to go. I've seen all kinds of comparisons of, him and Clay and him and, you name it, right? But he has a long way to go. However, the skill set that he has immediately and the athleticism with the defense, I mean, to say that he's not every team needs a guy like him is silly, right? Every team wants a athletic guard forward that can light it up and knock down the three ball. Every team in the league wants a guy like that, right? If the Lakers made Dalton Knecht available, every team in the league right now would be calling for Dalton Knecht because he's young. Yeah, he's almost 24, but he's still a very young talent that has shown what he's capable of doing, that on any given night, he could just go off. He has a lot of room, right? He is a role player, but that's fine. And even if he never becomes a star or superstar or anything like that, if he can just be, serviceable defensively, not great, not elite, just good enough, league average, somewhere in that ballpark, and, knock down 3 or 4 threes a game, right? What's wrong with that? Right? I mean, for the last 20 years, people have tried to get a guy in Dalton Knecht. Right? Every team wants 3-point shooters and 3-and-D guys and all that stuff. If Dalton Knecht can evolve into that, even as just a role guy off the bench, again, that's great. Not everyone has to be a superstar, but to say he's almost 24, so, all he's ever going to be is a role player, right? Not true. We've seen plenty of guys emerge in later years. I mean, right now, is like the era in which guys are like, 19 coming in. For every Anthony Edwards, you have guys that, don't emerge until they're in their 20s, 24, 25, 26, right? Like, but there were eras, like many of the greats came into the league at around Dalton Knecht's age, 22, 23. Like, Dalton Knecht is more refined. Has a specific set of skills, and he's a guy that's going to just continue to grow and develop. Like, to act like he's not going to get better. Now, what is the ceiling? How high is it? Right? Is it like peak Klay Thompson type? Or is it like, Klay Thompson now? Which, actually, Dalton Knecht's been better efficiency-wise than Klay has been. But you get the point. Like Klay, not elite defensively anymore, not great defensively, but he's still a guy that can hold his own a little bit, right? Depending on the matchup stuff, right? Like Dalton Knecht, that kind of guy, right? Is Dalton Knecht, your fifth best player, sixth best player, seventh best player, or could he potentially be your, like prime Klay, where if he's like your second or third best player, you're probably winning a bunch of championships, right? Like that is something we'll see, but to completely rule it out, I mean, the guy has all the tools. He's already elite shooting the basketball. He's already really good at getting to the rim. I mean, the guy just needs to learn better control once he gets to the rim and how to properly challenge. Right? He just kind of goes up there with reckless abandonment at times. But, dude, again, this guy has been arguably our third most consistent player. I've talked about this before, right? Like, even through the shooting slumps. I'm not saying best, right? There's a difference between consistency and best. But he has been arguably, consistency-wise, the best. Even before he got, like, the big role where he's kind of, being a starter and a key contributor and stuff like that. Like, Dalton Knecht has shown, like, if he's your, fifth guy in your starting unit, you're probably pretty good. Right? Like, he's a guy that I could see being a real asset in the right situation, right? Every team in the league would love a guy like him. It's the reality. To sit here and pretend like, hey, teams that passed up on him knew what they... No. I mean, the bad teams, the tanking teams, right? Like them, I get. Right? You don't want to draft a 24-year-old, that by the time you're ready to compete, he's, 28, 29, 30, right? Like that you're going to spend, 5 years trying to grow and develop. I get the upside isn't as high on a guy like a Dalton Knecht as it is for a, like a Alexander Sarr, right? Or a Riza Shea or something like that, right? Like, I get that. But that doesn't mean Dalton Knecht can't be an all-star caliber player, right? Or a, fringe all-star guy, or maybe even a star, right? Like, again, he's still a rookie. Let's not pretend like 23 years old is that old, right? He'll be 24 in April. He still has a long way to go, right? And he's getting a ton of experience, ton of opportunity. I would like the Lakers to utilize him better, but he's also doing it on like insane efficiency, right? Like even through, again, he's been terrible, about as bad shooting the basketball as you could possibly be through the last few games. And he's still shooting 41% from three-point range on 5.6 attempts. And he's shooting nearly 50% total from the field. He's shooting 47.6% on 8.9 attempts. So he's taking 9 attempts per game. He has an EFG of 60.4 as a rookie on a team with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Now, I do think the Lakers were probably the best place for him because they have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, right? Like some of these other teams, right? Like, it's very possible that it might not be the case, but in all honesty, right? Like, he benefits from playing alongside two stars such as LeBron and AD that can draw as much attention and, him being a guy that can play off ball and move off ball and all that stuff. But in the same breath, it's also like, if he's on a bad team, does he get the opportunity to kind of be on ball more? Could he... Like you see, like a Jared McCain, for example, right? Like he's with Paul George and everybody out. He's getting the opportunity. And the guy's been cooking. The guy's been balling. Does Knecht kind of get, more, like, is he a guy that averages 20 on a bad team? I could see it. But I don't think it would get him kind of the notoriety that it gets. Again, doing this alongside him averaging 12 points a game alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis, I think is just much bigger than him averaging 20 on, like, a bad team, like Detroit or something like that, right? Like, he might not even be talked about. He might be an afterthought, right? People be like, yeah, he's cool, but he's 24. But no, people look at him like, again, like, the Lakers are an organization. Like, he's perfect for the Lakers. Lakers are, even if he just stays the player he is, let's say he doesn't improve at all, right? Like, he's still a very valuable asset for a team in the Lakers that they want to compete. They want to contend year in and year out, right? Like, this isn't a team that wants to spend 10 years rebuilding. This is a team that wants to, hey, even after LeBron and AD, we want to have the next wave of champions, right? So, anyway, I thought that was funny. It's always like the anonymous GM, like, stop. You would have drafted him if you knew this is what he was going to be. So stop pretending. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Disagree? Kind of mixed in the middle? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Either way, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.